Hi guys! So after I did my video comparing the Happy Planner and the Discagenda Diva from Dokibooks, a few people have asked me about the differences between the Discagenda Diva and the Levenger Circa notebooks, which also use a discbound system. So it seemed like it would be a good idea to make a video comparing the two of these, in case you're curious. So the first difference, obviously, as with the Happy Planner, is that the Discagenda Diva comes in a binder, whereas the Levenger Circa notebooks there are a few different covers that you can get, but they're all this type of cover, which is either a leather or a faux leather or a fabric, like kind of a board cover type thing that goes on the discs. And so there's quite a difference in the way that the two of them look from the outside. Just to quickly go over this, in case you haven't seen the video comparing this with the Happy Planner, this either you can get this elastic strap version, which I like, or you can get a snap closure, and it comes with a pen loop, and then on the inside you get a whole bunch of pockets, and you also get a secretarial flap, and then on the other side you have this pocket here and this pocket here. So from the outside it looks completely like a 6-ring binder, which I really like. This is the Levenger Circa notebook that I have. It's faux leather. It's called the Sliver, which means that it's slimline, but you can obviously get expander rings. Levenger makes a whole bunch of different rings, discs. I always mix up rings and discs, so if I say rings in this video, you'll know that I mean discs. So you can substitute these for bigger discs. These are the smallest ones that they make. And obviously you could expand this a lot if you did that, so it wouldn't be slimline anymore. So it's very flexible, but they all look something like this. This one is quite a basic one, and I just got it because there was a small range available in faux leather. There were really only 3 different ones. There was this type, which is pretty plain. Then there was another one that had stitching that I liked, but this one was on sale, and that was why I got it. And then there's another one that looks very similar to this one, but it has pockets on the inside. So then there are also some fabric ones that look similar to this but are in different colors. So they all basically look like this, more or less. And that's the first major difference. So once you get past the cover, let's just take this out because then it will be more of a fair comparison. They start to look much more similar. As you might know, you can just buy this cover for the Discagenda Diva, and they've got a new one in turquoise as well, which I'm really excited about. So if you wanted to, if you liked the look of this for some reason, but you wanted to put it inside this, or you already had one of these but you wanted to get a cover for it, you could, and it fits. This is going to be a little bit awkward because I stuck a pen loop on here. This is another point, by the way. Because this has the cover, obviously it includes a pen loop, whereas the Levenger Circa notebooks, at least the ones that I've seen, the kind of like basic ones that look like this, don't come with a pen loop. So I just added this. But anyway, it does fit. The pen loop makes it a little bit lumpy, but it still fits. You can see that it fits inside. And without the pen loop, it would be much easier to put it in. So somebody was asking me about that, if it fits, and it totally does. This, by the way, is called, I think it's called the junior size or the half letter size. It's basically very similar to an A5 size. So it fits inside this. And you can see, if you compare the two of them, that they are almost the same height. It's just that this one is a true A5, whereas this is the US half letter size. Anyway, so that's an option if you have one of these and you wanted to put it inside the cover. It does fit. And if we continue and look at these, the first difference between them, as you can see, is the discs. So both of them have metal discs. It's actually, let me qualify that. If you just buy the Levenger Circa notebook, it comes with plastic discs, black plastic discs. There might be some of the more expensive models that come with metal discs, but I didn't pay too much attention to those because the expensive ones were all leather. So the ones that I was looking at, they all come with black plastic discs, and so you have to buy these separately to replace them if you want metal discs. They have a lot of really nice colors. They have gold and silver and copper, I think, or brass in metal, and they're made out of aluminium. And they have different sizes, but not in all of the colors. So if you wanted silver, at least at the shop where I was in Boston, they only had, these are they're 3/4 inches, the like really small discs. These are the only ones that they had available in silver. And what I mean to say is, I wanted these small discs, and the small discs only come in silver, if that makes sense. In the bigger sizes, they had like gold and other colors as well. They also have like purple and a lot of other really nice colors that coordinate with these covers, but they're not metal, they're plastic, but they look much nicer than the basic plastic discs. So, sorry, I hope that made sense. On the other hand, the Discagenda Diva automatically comes with metal discs, and they're bigger. These are just the standard ones that you get. They only make one size, at least at present. So they're quite a bit bigger, as you can see if you can compare them. And the other difference is that these have a circle in the middle, a hollow circle, which I really like. It's just a design detail, whereas the Levenger ones are solid. And all of the Levenger ones that I've seen, all of the different discs and the different colors, they're all solid. So depending on what you like, I really like the Dokibooks design with the circle in the middle. But these ones do come in different colors. The Dokibooks discs at the moment, I think, only come in rose gold, and they are now introducing like gold, just like a plain gold, yellow gold, that comes with the turquoise cover, and also the Discagenda Manta, which is a black and gold one. So at the moment, they aren't being offered for sale separately on the site, whereas the rose gold ones are, but I imagine that they will probably put them up. So moving on from the discs, the next big difference is the cover. So as I mentioned, this is a faux leather cover. It doesn't really feel very leathery in comparison to a lot of other faux leather covers that I have, like for example this purple Hobonichi cover, which I've done a review on, or the Filofax Flex, or any of the faux leather Filofax designs, really, like the Saffiano. This I think feels a bit more, I don't want to say quite plasticky, but you can kind of see on the inside here. I'm not sure if it's really coming up well on camera, but it sort of feels, it feels like a synthetic material. Like I don't know, it doesn't feel very leathery, which is not a huge problem. I think maybe stitching would help. Often I think if something is stitched, it kind of gives it more of an elegant look. I really like the stitched look. This just to me feels quite synthetic in a, it doesn't feel very elegant compared to those other faux leather planners that I've just mentioned, and certainly compared to this one, I think like this one has a great feel. So that's one difference, but it does come in some nice colors. This one on the other hand it's a plastic sheet, and then it's got this like kind of cutout design. This is a photo that I put in, obviously. So it's just a very, very different setup. This is like kind of in a way more similar to the Happy Planner, which is a laminated cover, except that this is, this is like an actual laminated cover, and this is a sheet of hard plastic, and then this like kind of cutout design underneath. So if you compare these, like they're quite different, because this is the cover, how you buy it, whereas this is supposed to be like an insert, basically. It's supposed to go inside this. Then after that, you have another big difference in that the Discagenda Diva comes with inserts, and that's one of the things that I really, really like about it, is that you're not just getting a binder, and you're not just getting the discs or a notebook, you're getting a whole entire planner. And I've been through this before in my review of it, so I think everybody knows what's in this. But that's something that I really, really like about it, and I think makes it great value for money, is that it's really a planner that's designed with planner addicts in mind, and it has a beautiful layout, and it has some color, and I really like that. Whereas this is, to me feels more like a notebook. So it comes with note paper. It comes with a lot of blank note paper, as I recall. I've kind of mixed things up because I bought some extra inserts. So I think that it just comes with a whole bunch of this lined note paper, maybe 90 sheets or something like that. And this is, I think it's 90 GSM. And it's just got these like kind of blank headers at the top and then like a space for annotations or notes on the side, and then it's lined on both sides. So it comes with quite a lot of that. So it's kind of like it's not set up for you as a planner. You can buy planner inserts, but the planner inserts are very different from these in that they feel very businessy to me. I think that this is kind of like branded or marketed at the business person angle or market, if that makes sense, as opposed to this, which is like a planner addict market. Although obviously there's some overlap. So you can get like these different inserts, like this one, which is called the Busy Mom or Dad Week at a Glance, and it's undated. That's another difference, is that this comes with dated inserts, which I personally love, although I know that there are a lot of people who like undated inserts. So you get a week on one page with some note space, and then on the other side it has room for recipe for dinner, ingredients, and then like kind of moments. This is only one of a variety of different inserts that you can get. This was the one that I picked because it seemed the most like a planner of the ones that they had available. They do also have a package of dated inserts, but at the shop where I was, they didn't have them in this half letter size. They only had them in the like kind of A4 equivalent, the letter size. And so I couldn't get them, but it does exist apparently. So, I mean, in the shop they said they could order them, but I was only there for a couple of days. So from looking at the letter size, I also felt like the dated planner was very, very business-like, which is not a bad thing. It's just that it's quite different from this. This is kind of cute, and, you know, like it has these little icons and it has the pastel colors, and it's just very different. This is just much more, feels like it's geared towards someone working in a, you know, like an office type setting. Not that you'd have to use it for that, but just like, you know, the colors here. This is a to-do list, so I just bought these inserts, and it's obviously it's undated, but it's got a space for a date at the top, and it's nice because it has sort of gradients of different colors. So if you wanted to, you could group tasks into, you know, these different categories or something, or you could just ignore them. But like, again, the color scheme just feels quite businessy to me. And then let's see, I think, yeah, those are the only inserts that I have for this, apart from the blank note paper. But Levenger does offer quite a variety, again, like mostly aimed at sort of like productivity. So they have one that's for like brainstorming, and it has like different sections for kind of like mind mapping, and you start with an idea and then you write some like kind of different steps that you could take to you know, sort of get the task accomplished. And it's like for sort of project planning. That's one that I remember seeing that I thought looked interesting. And they have a like travel organization insert, and they've got a few different ones, so it's worth looking on their website because they have some interesting inserts. But again, I think for me, I don't mind the sort of like more businessy kind of look, but if I had to choose, I would definitely choose the sort of like more kawaii or sort of cute planner addict type design. So I really like this. Another thing that should be mentioned is that Dokibooks sells the insert separately. So basically they sell all of the components of this separately. So if you wanted to, you could just buy the discs, you could just buy the inserts, you could just buy the dividers, you could just buy these plastic covers, or you could just buy the binder. So if you like the look of this cover, this type of cover, and you wanted to put Dokibook inserts inside, you could, because the holes are in the same place, and the size is roughly equivalent. So let me just show you. And I'm actually doing this at the moment. I am using this to store my used pages from the Discagenda Diva because it's getting a bit full. So I'm keeping all of my used pages because I've added in some stuff at the back, some extra stuff, so it gets a bit full when you have the full calendar year in it. and it fits fine. The only difference is that if you're using this in conjunction with the Levenger paper, you can see that the size is slightly different. And again, that's because this is an actual A5 size, whereas this is a US half letter size. So the half letter size is a bit longer and thinner than the A5 size. But unless you're type awesome, it won't bother you. And if you are, like me, it does bother me, then you would just not use them together. So it's not too bad for me because I'm not actively using this at the moment. I'm just using it to store these used pages in. So I just put them in one section here, and they don't have to intermingle with the letter size, so it doesn't really bother me. But because it's discbound, you could just take out all this paper and use it with the Dokibook inserts if you wanted to. So the same is true the other way around as well. If, like, say you have a lot of this paper, like me, but you want to use this and you want to put some extra note paper in, it fits in here. And again, you just have the same problem in reverse, that the pages aren't quite even. I was actually doing this for a while because I had a lot of lists in here from when I was using this as a kind of like home list reference book. And so I took them and put them in here in the back. And then it bothered me that the size didn't match up. And also it kind of bothered me how this looks so like kind of plain and, you know, businesslike and matter of fact, whereas this is all like happy and bouncy and cheerful. So I couldn't leave it like that. And so I ended up getting a notepad from Kiki K from their Cute collection, which I thought would match perfectly. And I punched it with my Mambi punch, which I love, and put it in here. And this feels much more appropriate for the Discagenda Diva because it's also, well, it's cute, as the name specifies. But that is an option if you wanted to, and if it doesn't bother you that they don't quite match up. So I think that's pretty much it. In terms of durability and, you know, kind of how they, you know, you could, like, for both of them, for sort of a robustness, I guess, they're both totally fine. Obviously, I don't use this on its own. I always have it in the binder, but it's quite tough. I think you could definitely use it on its own and it would be okay because it's got this very thick plastic covering on both sides. This one obviously is designed to be used on its own and it's totally fine. I've never taken this outside the house, but inside it's completely fine. This doesn't get scratched or marked at all in comparison to some planners where the cover is scratched really easily. Just from everyday use, I've had that happen with some of my other planners that I leave inside all the time. So I think that this is a good choice in terms of durability, and it looks nice. So I think that both of these are really nice options. One thing about Levenger is that it's a US-based company. They do ship internationally, but the international shipping can be expensive, and so this is a much better option if you live in the US. Whereas Dokibooks based in China and they ship internationally, so unless you live in China, you're going to be ordering it internationally anyway, and it doesn't really matter. So personally, I really like the Dokibooks because I just like how it's got everything in it, how it has the whole year planner. I like the design, and I like the fact that it comes with this. So if I had to sort of choose again between the two of them, and when I bought this, Dokibooks hadn't come out with this yet. And I just really wanted to try the discbound system, and this was my first introduction to it. But now, having had both of them, I would say that, like, for me, this one feels much more like a notebook to me rather than a planner. I just feel like this is much more designed as a planner, with planner people in mind, whereas this one feels like a notebook that you can add planner pages to. But I think somehow the whole like setup and the look of it, I don't know if that makes sense if you can see it on camera, but it feels much more notebooky, like a great notebook, a really nice high quality notebook, but it feels more like a notebook. So that's my impression of the two of these side by side. I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions about either of them, please let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon. Bye.